Well, breaking news this morning. Toyota is recalling 1 million vehicles over concerns the airbag may not deploy when it's needed most. 100,000 vehicles recalled, billions in losses, and Toyota's legacy is officially in ruins. The once unstoppable automaker is now bankrupt. The 2024 Tacoma and recent Tundra models became the tipping point in a collapse nobody saw coming. But how did it get this bad? Let's break down the numbers. Toyota used to be the gold standard of reliability, right? Buy a Toyota truck, and you'd have it for life. But today, the tables have turned hard. We're talking catastrophic engine failures, malfunctioning transmissions, and a flood of disgruntled customers that Toyota just couldn't keep up with. Toyota's ambitious switch to turbocharged engines and 8-speed transmissions backfired in a big way. And we're not talking about a handful of issues here. These defects spread like wildfire, and now the brand's reputation has crumbled. The once bulletproof automaker didn't react fast enough, and the financial strain was too much. What we're witnessing is the fallout of a reliability crisis that spiraled out of control, pushing Toyota from industry leader to bankruptcy. Stick around, because I'm about to show you just how catastrophic this got as Toyota fights for its life. You know how Toyota's always been synonymous with reliability? Well, that might be changing. Their new turbocharged engines are causing more problems than they're solving. Over 100,000 Tundras have already been recalled, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's break this down. Toyota used to be the go-to brand for dependable trucks. You'd buy a Tacoma or a Tundra, and you knew you were getting a vehicle that would last forever. But now, things are looking pretty dicey. Toyota decided to replace their old, naturally aspirated engines with new turbocharged 4-cylinder ones in the Tacoma and Tundra models. They did this to try and improve fuel efficiency and meet stricter emission standards. Sounds good on paper, right? But in reality, it's turning into a nightmare. We're seeing reports of engine failures left and right, and we're not talking about high-mileage trucks here. These are brand-new vehicles, some with just a few thousand miles on the clock. It's gotten so bad that some Toyota fans are calling these new engines ticking time bombs. But it gets worse. Toyota had to recall over 100,000 Tundra models because of excessive machining debris in the engines. This debris is clogging up oil passages and causing severe engine damage. We're talking about engines locking up while people are driving. Can you imagine how scary that must be? Let me give you an example of how bad this is getting. There's a case where a customer had to replace their Tundra's engine 3 times. 3 times! And this isn't some isolated incident. We're hearing similar stories from all over the country. Now, let's talk money. Each of these engine replacements costs Toyota big time. We're looking at thousands of dollars per vehicle, and when you add it all up, the potential cost to Toyota could be nearly $2 billion. But here's the thing. It's not just about the money. Toyota's reputation is on the line here. They built their brand on reliability, and now that's being called into question. People are starting to wonder if they can trust Toyota anymore. And it's not just the engines causing problems. The new 8-speed transmissions are giving folks headaches, too. Some 2024 Tacoma owners are shelling out over $6,000 for transmission replacements on nearly brand-new trucks. How did Toyota go from bulletproof to breakdown so fast? There's a case where a new Tacoma's transmission failed at just 519 miles. That's not even enough time to break in the engine, and the replacement cost a whopping $6,350. Now you might be thinking, okay, but that's just one truck, right? Wrong. Toyota's issuing technical service bulletins left and right for these new Tacomas. That means they know there's a problem, and they're scrambling to fix it. Toyota used to be the go-to brand for reliable transmissions. You'd buy a Tacoma, and you knew that transmission would outlast the rest of the truck. But now, people are starting to think twice. Let me share something I saw online. One frustrated owner said, "Remember when Toyota transmissions were bulletproof? Well, not anymore." That's the kind of comment that should have Toyota execs losing sleep at night. What's happening is a major shift in how people view Toyota. We're talking about a company that built its reputation on making trucks that could take a beating and keep on ticking. Now folks are warning each other to stay away from new Tacomas. That's a big deal. Look at the older Tacoma models. Those things were tanks. You'd see them on the road with 200,000, 300,000 miles, still running strong. But these new ones, people are worried they won't make it past the warranty period. Here's where it gets really interesting. Remember those engine problems we talked about earlier? Well, it looks like the transmissions might be suffering from the same issue. There's talk about debris in the system causing failures. It's like déjà vu all over again. If Toyota has to replace a bunch of these transmissions under warranty, we're looking at millions of dollars in losses, and that's not even counting the hit to their reputation. What's happening is a perfect storm. You've got engine problems, transmission issues, and a whole lot of unhappy customers. It's like Toyota took everything that made their trucks great and tossed it out the window. Here's something to think about. If you're in the market for a truck, are you going to roll the dice on a new Tacoma, or are you going to look at other brands that are not having these kinds of problems? What if I told you Toyota's problems could be your next car buying opportunity? The truck market is shifting, and you might be surprised who's coming out on top. Check this out. Toyota's been the king of reliability for years, right? But now their reputation is taking a serious hit, and it's not just affecting new car sales. The whole market is feeling the ripple effect. Here's what's happening. Toyota's struggles with the new Tacoma and Tundra models are shaking up the entire truck market. We're seeing a big shift in how people view these trucks, and it's changing the game for buyers and sellers alike. Look at this. Competitors like Nissan are jumping on the opportunity. They're pushing their trucks as simply more reliable alternatives. The Nissan Frontier, for example, is sticking with a good old naturally aspirated V6 engine. No turbo complications, no fancy transmissions causing headaches. And guess what? People are starting to take notice. But here's where it gets really interesting. The used car market for Toyota trucks is in for a wild ride. You'd think with all these problems, older Toyota trucks would be losing value fast, but that's not what we're seeing. In fact, some of those older, more reliable models are holding their value pretty well.
Why?
Because people are getting wary of the newer models. I've seen comments online where folks are straight up telling each other, "Don't buy one of these things used unless you just want a total hassle on your hands." That's the kind of advice that can really impact the market. Now let's talk about what this means for you if you're in the market for a truck. First off, if you've been eyeing a new Tacoma or Tundra, you might want to think twice, or at least do your homework. But here's the flip side. This situation could lead to some interesting opportunities. For one, dealerships are struggling to move these new Toyota trucks. I've heard reports of new Tundras just sitting on lots, not selling. What does that mean? Discounts, promotions, deals. If you're willing to take the risk, you might be able to score a new Toyota truck for a lot less than you'd expect. But here's my advice. If you're looking for a reliable Toyota truck, consider going a few years older, those pre-turbo, pre-8-speed transmission models. They're the ones that built Toyota's reputation, and now they might be an even smarter buy. Or, if you're not dead set on a Toyota, take a look at what the competition is offering.